Does the perfect camera really exist? A camera capable of doing high quality video and photo at the same time, while also being capable of being for private life and professional work? I think it does not exist. Well, at least that's what I thought until I saw the Fuji H2S. And you probably think to yourself, never heard of that camera. That guy is probably over-exaggerating. Well, I'm not, and everyone who has used this camera will agree with me on that statement. And now I own it for 4 months. Thanks to the stacked sensor, it is capable of capturing 40 raw images in full 26 megapixel resolution per second for 1000 continuous photos. And on the video side, it can capture 4K at 120 FPS or even 6.2K. And that's internally, in ProRes. And the camera manages all of that in a housing that is so small and light that I barely even notice it when I have it with me. For a Fuji camera, the design of the H2S is unfortunately a bit boring. The X-T5 and the X100V have much more character, but the build quality is good and so are the ergonomics. The button placement I find only okay-ish. I like completely manual dials the best, and here they have given them away for a always-on display. It is of course handy to see at any time the battery level and the remaining memory card storage, but I can live without it. The OLED viewfinder is top-notch, I can't any fault with it, and the large display can be swiveled freely and has also a great picture quality. The reason why I bought the Fuji X100V a year ago is the reason that it is still sold out everywhere. Fuji has managed to transfer the look and feel of an analog film camera to the digital world. All of these photos were not edited. They came straight out of the camera, and the different color profiles can give a scene a very different mood and experience, and I love that. Nowadays 90% of all pictures taken are taken with a smartphone, and because of it Fuji makes a big difference with the film emulations inside this camera that you can actually tweak and customize to your liking. The pictures I find the most beautiful are not just flat and clear. They have character, they tell a story and they have a mood. Sure, I can edit any file until I like it, but it's much more fun to see the awesome result while I'm shooting. It's like taking photos with the X100V, but only sharper and with interchangeable lenses. And I can send everything directly to my smartphone with an app. Of course, the H2S can also shoot clean and accurate RAW files. And it can do video too, and not just any video. 6.2K in an aspect ratio of 3:2 in 6.2K and up to 30 FPS, or 4K in up to 120 FPS. The last, unfortunately, with a slight crop, but 4K at 60 FPS is full sensor. And as I said, all internally in ProRes 420 on a CFast card, which is really awesome except for the price. Externally, 12-bit ProRes RAW and Blackmagic RAW is supported via a regular sized HDMI port. Super impressive specs for such a small camera, but Fuji is not known for the specs. Fuji is known for the color reproduction. It is reminiscent of analog film. I filmed some of my videos almost exclusively with the H2S and none of you noticed it. To me, the skin tones seem very pleasing. Greens and blues are also captured very nicely. It's a unique look that is hard to reproduce with color grading. The dynamic range is extremely high. That doesn't have to tell you anything now, but CineD measured 11.9 points at a signal to noise ratio of 2, so it's only 0.2 points behind the twice as expensive Sony FX3. But I had a FX3 and I would say that the Fuji does even better than it, because the noise looks nice and Sony's noise doesn't. If you liked this video so far, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Thanks in advance. I have only 2.5 criticisms. First, the standard image sharpness is artificially enhanced. Fortunately, you can turn it off. Second, it's normal for a log color profile to have a slightly higher ISO, but ISO 1250 on the H2S is way too extreme. I always have to use an ND filter, and the integrated log viewer is also set way too bright. Because of it, I often expose too dark. And the half point of criticism for me is that I use a Lumix S1H, and the image stabilization on there is probably the best, and in the H2S it's only average. One thing Fuji is particularly proud of with the H2S is its autofocus. They even made a video about the 3.0 update because it relies on artificial intelligence. And even in videos, it recognizes my eye immediately and keeps it sharp. Even the back of the head is tracked. But with objects, which are mainly my work, the focus is a bit wonky. Manual focus is also a bit awkward when shooting in video, because it crops in and then you can't crop out. It's a mess. But for me, this level is 90% satisfying, and the good autofocus was certainly one of the reasons why I got this camera. One point that almost stopped me of getting this camera is the sensor size. Nowadays, everyone wants a full frame camera, but the H2S totally changed that for me. Now I think that APS-C can be plenty enough, because not once have I thought that full frame would have been an improvement to a picture, and I actually do like the benefits of the smaller sensor even more. On the contrary, I love the smaller, lighter, less expensive lenses. The stacked sensor also means there's hardly any rolling shutter in videos. And because the sensor is really good, the camera does decently well in low light. I mean, it can keep up with a Sony a7S III in terms of dynamic range, which speaks for itself. I have two lenses and an adapter for all of my Canon glass. The adapter supports autofocus and even includes a speed booster, meaning it enlarges the APS-C sensor, if you will so. Instead of a 1.5 crop compared to full frame, now it has a 1.1 crop. I'm not super satisfied, but it's handy if you already own Canon glass. I mainly use the Fuji 35mm f1.4 because it has a great character. It's incredibly small and light, but it's a shame that the focus is quite loud and not the fastest out there. The Fuji H2S can do everything, and it can do everything great. I don't even know whether I think it's better for photos or videos, and I love how they are closing the gap between analog and digital photography. And because the body is quite small, I can have this amazing picture quality always with me. The price is actually quite fair considering the features, with $2,400, and the lenses, they are way cheaper than on full frame. So I'm really thankful to Fuji, because it feels like they are saving cameras. That's it from me. I hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.